Welcome back, gamers, to Top 10 Gaming. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and if you happen to be new here, we put out daily content on all things gaming related, so if you're down with that, then tap the subscribe button to see more. Plus, leave us a comment down below with what video game mechanic that you wish was real. And while you ponder that, let's jump into today's list of the top 10 video game mechanics that won't work in real life. At number 10, getting shot. This first point is perhaps one of the most overlooked yet oh so prevalent video game mechanics that exists. How many times have you played a game such as Call of Duty or PUBG where you've been hit by bullets and not just dropped immediately? Unless it's a headshot, the video game world is very forgiving when it comes to getting tagged by bullets. The shots taken are enough to warn you that you need to duck and take cover, heal up, and then get back into the fight. Yet in reality, this just would never work. Bullets are so much more deadly than any video game will ever make them out to be. Even a 9mm pistol contains a muzzle energy of 580 foot-pounds, and 5 rounds from that would be enough to even topple a deer. And at number 9, waiting your turn to fight. A game mechanic we'll never understand is the odd back and forth fighting where you attack your opponent and stand perfectly still while they counterattack. Imagine getting into a fight with someone in the streets and just having to get socked in the face until it's your turn to fight. It's a very gentleman-like way of fighting, sure, and in video games this gives you enough time to map out what you're going to do next. However, in reality, if this were the case, you would lose that thought immediately upon getting thrashed on your opponent's turn. It reminds me so much of those classic duels that you see in old western movies, but beyond that, it would certainly make fighting not just more dangerous, but more boring as well. And at number 8, climbing towers to see where you are. First and foremost, God bless Google Maps and well, just maps in general. Could you imagine in order to figure out where you are, you'll first have to climb that giant tower? This mechanic is often used in games such as Assassin's Creed, where a portion of the map is hidden and the only way to reveal this is by scaling the highest point in the vicinity. Thankfully, in reality, this isn't necessary, although it may add a fresher perspective seeing the whole city or area from those kind of heights. Everything would take so much longer though if this became a required element for just navigating the world. And at number 7, carrying things. Video games such as Grand Theft Auto always baffled me with this strange but necessary mechanic of being able to hold on to so many things. It would be a pretty useful mechanic in real life if this were true though. Imagine being able to carry an assortment of belongings past what your small pockets could fill. As I mentioned in games like GTA, you can carry a wide variety of weaponry and can whip out whichever weapon you'd like at almost a moment's notice. Some games have added a cap to what you can carry, such as COD's Blackout mode, where they require you to also pick up a backpack just to carry more things. This certainly adds more realism to this wishful thinking video game mechanic. And at number 6, rolling versus running. For whatever reason, it has become a universally accepted game mechanic that every character should be able to roll. Not just somersault for fun though, no. Rolling is also a faster form of travel than even running. Many gamers swear by this technique of getting from point A to point B because not only do you stay low to the ground, but in their opinion, they actually believe it's faster. Imagine this same mechanic implemented into our own reality. It would certainly make the sprinting events of the Olympics much more entertaining. Now introducing the 100-meter roll. It just wouldn't work at all. You'd be so dizzy by the time that you reached your destination that you'd forget why you rolled there in the first place. Even the show Live PD would be pretty funny to watch though, just cops chasing after these criminals rolling around. I can't get a hold of him, he keeps rolling, they're too fast. I guess we'll have to roll too. And at number 5, bodies disappearing. Unless you're Bill or Hillary Clinton, you've probably never seen a body disappear. However, in video games, this is a strange phenomenon that occurs in almost every game where death is present. We don't know if it's meant to keep things tidy for cleaner game walkthroughs, but how weird would it be if when you pass in this life, you just physically disappear? Come to think of it, when I say it out loud like that, it kinda sounds magical. Sounds like something Disney would do. Although when it came down to convicting a murderer, the judicial system would have a much more difficult time prosecuting someone with literally no body for evidence. On second thought, let's just keep this mechanic in video games where it belongs, as strange as it might be. And at number 4, looting houses. I'm sure we can all agree that video games can instill poor behaviors in some people by simply normalizing them within the mechanics of how that world operates. One that's so normalized and makes zero sense is the ability to just loot people's homes. Imagine sitting at your dinner table with your family family and out of nowhere some stranger waltzes into your home, chats with you about the weather, and then immediately starts rummaging through your cupboards for supplies. You'd be a tad thrown off and would probably call the police right away. In video games though, the NPCs have almost no issue with this behavior. You can even enter a home in some games, never talk to the people who own the place, and they'll just still smile as you steal their belongings. It's safe to say this would never work in real life, and nor should you ever attempt to try. In at number 3, defying gravity. Look, it would be pretty boring if the laws of gravitational pull actually applied to video games and would actually render most games impossible to play. In a lot of games too, you can perform these odd maneuvers such as double jumps where you actually gain a boost in height for doing this. This pretty staple mechanic though would never be able to work in reality unless you were always on a trampoline. Games such as Duke Nukem or Crash Bandicoot pull off these miraculous double jumps sometimes without even touching the ground. That means while in mid-air they wiggle in a certain way and actually launch themselves higher. Unless you have a jetpack strapped to your back, the law of gravity would never allow for something as ridiculous as this to happen. In at number 2, doors. We realize this is a pretty generic point to go from, but allow me to explain. Nothing has changed the way that we view doors like video game mechanics. Some doors are locked and tell you that you'll need a key to open them, but other doors never give this prompt. They're just jammed shut, and as a result, not even all the bullets in the world could open it. More ridiculous than trying to use your firepower to open a wooden door are the ones that don't even budge from tossing a grenade at them. This mechanic would certainly be an improvement for home security companies, but in reality, it could never work. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, multiple lives. As far as we know, the life we're currently living is the one and only one that we get. Death is a scary thing to pontificate on, but many use this as a motivation to achieve great things in their time. For video games though, all of that logic goes out the window. It gives gamers the carefree attitude to just take that leap of faith, knowing that worst comes to worst, they can just restart at their last checkpoint. Unless you believe in reincarnation, the game mechanic of multiple lives doesn't work in real life, and nor has it ever been proven to. This mechanic just turns the entire idea of dying into a simple inconvenience, which, as I said before, is perhaps a terrible form of behavior to just be training into people. And that has been the top 10 video game mechanics that would never work in real life. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then show us some love by tapping that like and subscribe button. Plus, leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on this list. And for more videos like this one, all you gotta do is click that playlist on the screen. From Top 10 Gaming, I'm Johnny Rogers. Until next time, take care.